Last time on My Hero Academia, the battle against All for One, with Hawks, Jiro, Tokoyami, and Endeavor, has continued to rage onward, as with every advancement, All for One shows just why he's the number one bad guy. Despite everything that Hawks, Jiro, and Tokoyami have done to smash away his respirator, he just managed to find a way around it. That was until Endeavor came back, protecting Hawks and the kids, even losing an arm in the process, but not caring, fighting through the pain, and managing to unleash one devastating attack on All for One. Now, it remains to be seen if Endeavor's sacrifice was enough, or if it was just the dying embers of a once brilliant flame. Join me as I find out what happens next, won't you? It's My Hero Academia number 357, Wounded Hero, Burning Bright and True. I gotta tell you, if there was ever a chapter title that sounded like, "This man's about to die," it's this. Alright, and you see All for One blown back by Endeavor's attack, obviously using a shield upon himself. As he's also holding together his respirator, he thinks to himself, "That was a close one. Actual danger? I knew you'd come at me hard, but I never expected that the likes of you would make me relive the pain and misery of that day." Ooh, he's thinking back to All Might. It's just like, ooh, you're just as good as my last lover. Wounded heroes are always the scariest. Oh man, that is insane. The intensity of this. It makes me think of like Gon from Hunter x Hunter. And when he was taking on Pito, it's just like, yeah, that kind of shit. It's just like, despite all the damage, he's just still going at it. It's just like, what the fuck? And then next thing, All for One knows, Endeavor is like inches away from his face, propelled forward, just like the attack against the high end that gave Endeavor the scar across his eye. He's being propelled forward by Hawks' feathers, as Hawks tells Endeavor, "You're too slow." Friggin' Sonic the Hedgehog shit. Ooh. And Endeavor comes bearing down on All for One with a massive flaming fist. He unleashes the attack, vanishing Jet Bird! This massive pillar of fire just unloads on All for One. It is insane. And all the people on the ground say, "Yikes, that's hot. Endeavor? I thought the plan was to finish him off way up high." Meanwhile, up in the sky, Hawks questions Endeavor, "Wasn't that the right moment for a prominence burn?" Endeavor shouts back, "No. Didn't you see him go on the defensive? And that's not a move I can fire off multiple times. I've got to physically rip apart his defenses to be sure that big one hits its mark." And Endeavor just blows out, almost like he's trying to cool himself off a little bit, as Hawks gives him a smile and says, "Keeping a cool head, huh?" But as Endeavor goes racing towards the ground to go after All for One, he says, "No, I can't hold back this rage!" And you see on the ground All for One starting to reform his barrier, as you see Kamui Woods and a few other heroes off to the side. Kamui says, "It's All for One." And then he just turns to everyone else and shouts, "Everyone, retreat!" And one of the people says, "Why? This is our chance to bun rush him." Whoa! And Kamui pulls them away as Endeavor comes just smashing in on him. All for One has created like a triple layer of his shield to guard, and just fire spews all over the place in a massive fashion. Endeavor doing his damnedest to just blast through the shield as Kamui looks on and says, "Above all else, Endeavor's coming through." And Endeavor manages to smash through All for One's shield, grabbing him by the suit, his eyes lighting up with a mighty rage as Endeavor roars and just rockets All for One across the battlefield, destroying the forest in the process. He's just dragging him along the ground, as All for One can only think to himself, the swarming gnats cracked my mask, and now my body won't move as I command. But at this range, he's within my reach. Oh shit, what? No way. Okay, so as All for One goes to reach for Endeavor, I guess to take away his power, Endeavor uses his abilities basically like Superman, just heat vision, right onto All for One's hand, just frying it, just lighting it up. Man, Endeavor has leveled up as he just tells All for One, those hands of yours ruin people's futures. And All for One just barks back, you know a thing or two about that. And Endeavor, he says, no. You're right. And he thinks back to himself. My mistake took form as Toya, leading to so many stolen futures. The past never dies. Rage, resentment, and even penance are wound together towards the future. And Endeavor takes All for One and rockets up into the sky as Jiro and Tokoyami look on. Oh shit. And the future is a path for the young, a path with so many branching choices. That's why I must win this, that when those kids walk that path, my past won't stand in their way. I'll keep raging against myself. And Endeavor tells All for One, I'll keep paying my penance, and I'll win today and keep my eyes on Toya. And as all for One can do is shout, no, stop! And it's too late. Endeavor ignites in the sky. Holy shit. And once the fire dissipates, Endeavor has just burnt All for One to a massive crisp. Endeavor thinks to himself, we already confirmed that he doesn't have hyperregen. Even if he did and we're keeping it a secret, without a durable body like Shigaraki, she's still a dead man. But then Hawk shouts to Endeavor, get away from him, Endeavor! And the burnt form of All for One speak. Did you really think I'd casually saunter up to the big finale empty-handed? This body has already served its purpose, and it was destined for the scrap heap anyway. So why not try this out? What does that mean? Try this out. And you see Eerie and some kind of canister? What? And as he crumbles away, it seemed like his last words, he says, heroes don't have a monopoly on big sacrificial moments, you know? And he thinks villains are also scariest when wounded. I don't understand. And you see what almost kind of looks like an eye? Or, I don't understand. What did he do? And the first, All for One's brother, the visage of him appears to Izuku as he's still racing across the ocean to get to the fight with Tomura Shigaraki. He says, Midoriya. Izuku says, the first, what is it? The first says, I got a bad feeling about this. Very Star Wars. And in the distance, above the ocean, Izuku sees several figures approaching him. And he questions, what's that? Okay, yeah, I'm very confused. Yeah, I'm not sure. What did he have in his back pocket? Okay, theory time. What's approaching Izuku Midoriya? Maybe Haya Nomu? Maybe some kind of clones of All for One to some degree? It has to be something along those lines. I mean, I figured at some point All for One's body was just gonna be destroyed. Because he wasn't really planning on keeping that. That was the thing. That was the whole point of transferring everything of him to Shigaraki. So the destruction of this body is like, yeah, cool, he killed All for One, but at the same time, All for One was just like, yeah, this body's not going to hold up for too much longer. But what does he mean, sacrificial moment? And it has something to do with maybe the Kruk removal bullet? And what does Hawk see that Endeavor can't? Is it some kind of duplicate? Yeah, it feels like something to do with clones or Nomus made in the visage of All for One. Like there had to be some kind of deeper plan going on here. But man, Endeavor's final onslaught was amazing. That shit was hype as fuck. Hype as shit. Like, man, just seeing Endeavor unleash all his rage, his passion, just the destruction, Kamui just jumping out of the way, the bombastic onslaught, just Endeavor was burning bright. Hell yeah. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think All for One's final plan, his sacrifice, actually is? Why is the first scared? What is on the horizon? Is it some form of Nomu? Or is it something beyond that? It's really hard to say, but I want to hear from you. Also, subscribe, that way you don't miss out on the next video. Or don't. I ain't your daddy, but I still love you like one. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. I hope to see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.